Good evening and welcome to City Council meeting of June 9th, 2026. First, I want to recognize Ben Wortham. It's his first official meeting as interim city council member, city administrator. So welcome, Ben. City clerk, please read the roll.
Thank you, Mayor. Council members present and establishing a quorum are council members Fulcher, Beaumont, Walker, Hanford, Gamble, and Blair.
Thank you. Councilmember Fisher indicated that they would be absent. Unless there are objections, their absence will be considered excused. Thank you, Council. Hearing no objections, their absence is excused. Councilmember Fulcher, please lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Is that somebody signed up? The first item of business is public comments. This is a limited opportunity for people to speak to the council during the council meeting. Pursuant to council rules of procedure, oral public comment is limited to in-person comment only and must comply with the standards set forth in the council rules. Comments are limited to 3 minutes. Information on where to send written comments is on tonight's agenda and screen. Please note that if you wish to speak on an item scheduled for a public hearing later this evening, there will be a separate opportunity to speak during the hearing. We'll now begin public comment. Clerk, were there any written comments received for tonight? No? Okay, thank you. The first person signed up is Colden Brown. Colden, would you like to come up and state your name, area of residence, and we'll start the clock.
Good evening. My name is Mr. Brown, Colden Brown. I'm actually originally from Seattle. Family had a homestead in Briar, but I'm on assignment here due to the disaster that occurred in December with the floods. So I am a public affairs specialist with the United States Small Business Administration Office of Disaster Recovery. Okay, well, anyway, so the main reason why I'm here is because tomorrow is the deadline for FEMA applications. We are separate from FEMA. We want to make sure that the community is aware that they still have access to long-term disaster recovery through the SBA, which is, we've been around for a while here, and we're going to continue to be here. So our cutoff time is going to be 60 days from tomorrow. And as far as businesses, as I've been going back through, I'm over Snohomish County, as I'm going through Darrington, Gold Bar, and the like, I am seeing that I'm getting feedback that revenue is low as of right now, as far as you guys are not hitting their numbers as far as tourism. So the main thing here, as far as with the SBA, is that we offer economic injury disaster loans. These are low interest loans for the first year. There are no payments. There's no payments, no interest, and there's no prepayment penalty. In addition to that, if you've already had a home that has been affected and you've already paid out to make sure that your home was taken care of, but you have an interest rate that is over 5.75 or somewhere in the like, we can look at being able to help you refinance your home if it was affected as well. So we are the #1 funder of long-term disaster recovery in the United States. And as of right now, just so the council knows, we've been able to help with over, just our portion of it, over $15 million in this particular area. And FEMA is actually over $16 million right now as well. So you do have the ability to be able to check into what we have to offer to be able to minimize the pain through our website, which is sba.gov/disaster.
Thank you.
You're very welcome.
There's no one else signed up. Is there anyone else in the audience who would like to speak during the public comment time? Okay, seeing no one else needing to speak, I think the public comment portion of the meeting is closed. Next up is announcements and presentation. The next item on the agenda is a proclamation, and it's a presentation for CPR and AED Awareness Week. I'll read this proclamation. Deputy Chief, if you want to come up, Deputy Chief McConnell, and I'll read the proclamation. So recognizing June 1 through 7, 2026 as National CPR and AED Awareness Week, whereas every second matters during a cardiac emergency, and immediate CPR and access to an AED can greatly increase a person's chance of survival. And whereas CPR and AED training gives citizens the confidence and ability to step in and help before emergency responders arrive. And whereas schools, businesses, community organizations, and emergency responders all play an important role in making life-saving education and equipment available throughout our community. And whereas this week also serves as a reminder that anyone can make an extraordinary difference when they are prepared to act in an emergency. And whereas the City of Monroe joins Snohomish Regional Fire and Rescue in recognizing the importance of CPR and AED awareness in saving lives. Now, therefore, I, Patsy Cuddeback, do hereby recognize the week of June 1 through 7, 2026 as National CPR AED Awareness Week, and I encourage all residents to learn CPR, become familiar with AEDs and how to use them, and help build a safer, more prepared community. Now I'll turn it over to Deputy Chief McConnell.
Mayor, Council, thank you so much for highlighting this important awareness and the value of this training within our community as a key links into the chain of survival. And if any one of those links is not present or not able to really hold that weight, then we don't get the outcomes that we want. And the chain includes early recognition and notification, high quality CPR, early defibrillation, early advanced cardiac life support, and then post-arrest care and recovery. And so really today we want to focus on the key role that our community members play with early recognition, high quality CPR, and early defibrillation. Sorry, it's a little tongue twister there. But
definitely.
And we had a recent example here that was highlighted right here at our own YMCA in Monroe. And on March 25th, 2026, at 10:36 a.m., Snohomish Regional units were dispatched to a medic response for a cardiac arrest. Responding crews learned that YMCA staff were on scene, and after witnessing the patient go into cardiac arrest, they collectively used their training and preparation to initiate CPR and deliver a life-saving shock with a nearby AED. The quick and deliberate actions of Eli McMillan, Tina Price, Chris Sealing, and Natalie Kozak meant a life saved. One of our paramedics who was on scene recalled that as they approached the parking lot, they could see bystanders next to the patient performing quality chest compressions and that the AED was applied correctly. All the crews that reflected on the incident said that there was no doubt that the efforts of the YMCA staff contributed to a successful outcome. It really comes down to neighbors helping neighbors, demonstrating a spirit of service, and being prepared to act when duty calls. Now, our motto at Snohomish Regional is that we are driven to serve. And this group of individuals and really representative of this community have shown that they are driven to serve, and we have been honored to acknowledge their service. So we do have some of the members here, so maybe if you'd all mind, if you wouldn't all mind coming up, maybe to the front. Sorry, so we have Natalie here with us, we have Eli with us, and we have Tina. Chris was not able to make it tonight, but we did acknowledge their service at the Board of Commissioner meeting. And so we did present the Civilian Life Saving Award previously, but we saved for tonight to present Natalie the First Responder Award, and that's very special to us. She also serves as a part-time firefighter at Sultan Fire District 5 and works at the YMCA and is a committed mom. And then beyond that, she also has a history of service within her family. Her dad is here with us today, retired driver operator Rusty Hunt. He retired in December of this last year after 37 years of committed service, primarily here in the community of Monroe. So Natalie, for you, we want to acknowledge that, and then for the rest, and just celebrate your service and the role that you play here in our community.
Do we want to do a picture? Council, do you want to do a picture? No? Do you guys want to do a picture? Yeah? Okay, there we go. The next item is recognizing the Rotary Club of Monroe for their donation to downtown planters. So I would like to take a moment to recognize Rotary Club of Monroe. Monroe's planters help beautify our downtown, making it welcoming for residents, businesses, and visitors. Each year, these downtown flower planters are made possible by a collaboration between community donations, volunteers, and our own Parks Department. If you haven't heard, the Rotary Club of Monroe generously donated $1,000 in support of our downtown planters. Thank you so much. Their large contribution, combined with the efforts of other individual donations and volunteers, allowed all 31 of our downtown flower pots to be decorated this year with new flowers and greenery, helping bring our downtown to life. As a small gesture to show our gratitude, we'd like to present Rotary with a certificate of appreciation for their significant contribution to the program. With that, Council and Rotary Club members, we come down and present the certificate. Okay, council, I promise that's the last time we're getting up and going down there.
I need to get my steps in.
That's getting your steps in. Okay, moving on to public hearing. We have 3 public hearings this evening. The first public hearing is for 2031 Transportation Improvement Plan. I'm trying to decide if I need to read the rules, but the rules of order for this legislative public hearing are as follows. Unless otherwise expressly allowed by a majority vote of council, oral public comments during a public hearing are limited to in-person attendees only. Remote oral public comment is allowed to the extent specifically required by RCW 42.30.240, subset 2. All speaker comments shall be made from the podium unless the speaker has been authorized to participate remotely. Any person making comments shall be requested to give their name first. Comments shall be public to the presiding officer and council body as a whole and must be reasonably germane to the topic of the hearing. Anyone making out-of-order comments or taking actions that disrupt the meeting may be subject to removal from the meeting. There will be no demonstrations or interruptions during or at any conclusion of any person's comments or presentation. These rules are intended to promote an orderly system of holding a public hearing to give every person an opportunity to be heard and to ensure that no person is intimidated by others when exercising their right of free speech and participation. So the public hearing is now open. So Mr. Peterson, please provide the staff report for this public hearing.
Thank you, Mayor. Good evening, Council. As the Mayor introduced there, this public hearing is for the 26 to 31 Transportation Improvement Program, also known as the TIP. The requested action is to conduct a public hearing, receive public comments, and then after that, close the hearing and adopt Resolution 2026-011, establishing the 6-year TIP. The purpose, what's the purpose of the TIP? Well, a good reason is it's required by state law. So every year, before July 1st, cities are required to adopt a 6-year transportation improvement program. It has to be conducted through a public hearing process and then adoption through a resolution. The TIP has to be consistent with our comp plan, our capital improvement plan. The TIP can be amended whenever the council may deem it necessary, but it has to follow the same process. So you have to do another public hearing, adopt a new resolution. And then after the adoption, we have about 30 days just to provide a copy to the Washington State DOT, so for the records. The TIP also serves as an advantage, or not advantage, but important document. Most of our grant sources that we apply to require candidate projects to be on our TIP. So that also is an important feature. If it's not on the TIP, we would need to amend the TIP to put it on. But so yeah, moving forward here, let's get this slide going. Good, we're still good. Can you turn the slide there, Jody? Yeah. So as I mentioned, Puget Sound Regional Council provides a funnel for federal grants, and the TIP is a state grant source. Both agencies require projects to be on our TIP. Grants are competitive in nature. Sometimes, we don't win our grants, and in those cases, it's more likely than not that that project will be deferred or slid back in years until we can get another shot at federal or state funding. So it's just the nature of how transportation projects are funded. We rely heavily on grants, so that's just a little side note there. We apply a lot, we don't win them all, and then we make adjustments accordingly. So, policy considerations. As mentioned earlier, the 6-year TIP needs to be adopted by a resolution, which is attached to your council agenda item. It reflects transportation projects that we have identified in what's in the upcoming capital improvement plan, the CIP for 2027 to 2032. So therefore it's consistent with those other planning documents. The upcoming CIP is currently working its way through the Planning Commission, and then the council will have a chance to review and comment and look at it in late summer, early fall as part of the that process with the CIP adoption. So, you know, the TIP covers lots of street-related infrastructure. It could be roads, it could be sidewalks, but it's identifying the projects that the city is aiming to construct within the next 6 years. In the past year, what we've done is paved a few roads. We had a TB, Transportation Benefit District Board meeting just prior to this meeting where we just went through the annual report, what we did last year with TBD dollars, but that's also on our tip. In the past, the 2025 annual road maintenance, we preserve our existing streets. The signal in front of the hospital on 179th was on the tip. We technically, it's already done. It just was done in early this year, so it's still on the 26th to 31 radar. We installed some rectangular rapid flashing beacons, always a tongue twister. They, as part of sidewalk safety, pedestrian crossing safety improvements. It's not always about cars. Also, sometimes we combine our projects, if it all aligns, we combine our street infrastructure with other projects like sewer and water replacement. And the last two in the agenda that I listed, we did an alley improvement where we addressed some poor pavement and drainage issues along with doing some sewer and water upgrades. So it's a multifaceted project that was completed. Same thing in South Monroe, South Blakely and Circle Drive. We replaced the aging infrastructure, utility infrastructure there, and then we gave those roadways new surfaces. So if you're ever in that neighborhood, you might notice. Those are projects that we took care of last year. Some projects are still on the TIP process. That's because they're in design. Another batch of preventative maintenance overlays are coming. Things like the Oak Street improvement project, that's in the design phase. Those are projects that have been on the tip or are still on the tip because they're still in the planning process. So, Jody, if you could flip the side. Okay, you already did it. Oh, sorry, you're ahead of me. If you back up there. So on the slide here that we have, I listed the projects that are on the 6-year TIP. Not everyone has a numerical designation because they're pretty much could be anywhere in the city, but the ones that kind of made, where we can identify spots, that's where they were highlighted. So for instance, number 2 is the signal that we just built, but then number 3, road maintenance, that could be all over the city. So we just didn't put a dot on the map for that reason. So, projects are in various phases. They have a design phase, the right-of-way phase. They have a construction phase. The TIP is a planning document. By approving the TIP or adopting the resolution, you're not authorizing the expenditure of that project. It's a plan of attack for what we want to do in the next few years. The budget, for the biennium budget, that's when we authorize expenditures, and then as a specific project moves through its process and gets to awarding a contract to the contractor, you'll see that come forward as a consent agenda item to specifically authorize expenditures on a project level. So now if you could flip to the next slide, Jody. As an example, the numbers might be a little small, I apologize for that, but here's those same projects by kind of category or phase. We have design, we have right-of-way and construction. You see where staff have put dollars to the array here based on the project, and on the far right column, we've identified funding sources where we have federal and state or TBD dollars that are going to help us achieve those projects. I think the second slide is more of the same. Jody, if you want to flip to that one. Yeah. So there's the other half of the TIP. And you can see that there are some that don't have funds identified as other funds, but we will be applying for grants for a lot of those, and hopefully we're successful and we can program them into the procedure and get them built in the timeline that we've outlined. So with that, as I said, the TIP needs to be adopted before the end of this month, July 1st, and then we have to file it to the state within 30 days. I believe that might be the last slide. Be glad to answer your questions.
Councilmember Beaumont.
Thank you, Mayor. Thank you for the presentation. So a couple questions, and forgive me if you've already explained these in other meetings, but I'm curious about the Sumac Phase 2 and Short Columbia Phase 2. I see them on the chart, but what exactly are we doing in those two locations?
Sumac Phase 2, we are going to do more old sewer and water main upgrades, and then we're going to reconstruct the roadway. The idea with Sumac is to, of course, give a new road surface, build some sidewalk infrastructure, with the potential of doing some traffic calming along that corridor as well. We haven't really put pen to paper at all. At this point, we're just now 0.1% along the way in the design phase.
Right.
So
right.
that's the general idea, how I read it.
And
then
Short
Short Columbia, much the same. It's a multifaceted project where we'll continue to attack the sewer and the water utility just by the nature of replacing those old or aged utilities with new. We're going to beat up the street pretty good, but the street's pretty rough already, so it's a perfect time to do all those at the same time. So Short Columbia has sidewalk along one side of it. It's kind of old sidewalk, but we would give it a whole new facelift. So the idea is, when we do Short Columbia, we do like a complete streets scenario where you have sidewalks and a new street and new utilities.
Okay, that's great. The Sumac, I've noticed I've come in down Lewis a couple of times, and it backs up. That traffic backs up considerably, starting at about 3:30. And a lot of people are turning left on Powell and using Sumac. And so I'm really happy to hear that we're addressing that and looking at that, because we know it's become a cut through. But I think sidewalks, it definitely needs it. So I'm really happy to see that on the list. So thank you for those updates. Can you share with me, I know the train noise is something that we've always, are talking about, and I know it's out of our control to some extent, but could you update me on that as well? Like, what are we doing at this point? What are the discussions?
Sure. It takes effort to work with BNSF and with WashDOT to get everyone on the same page. It's a multi-agency kind of approach to getting a project constructed. The quiet zone study, it's a kind of formula, but you have to have a safe enough crossing in your city to qualify, potentially petition to the UTC, Utilities Transportation Commission, to petition for a quiet zone. With that understanding, and I'm going to not even bore you with the math, but if we improve each one of our railroad crossings to a point where we score high enough, we can trigger a petition and ask for that. We're not there yet. So the quiet zone study we completed quite a while ago, might have been 6 years ago, identifying potential improvements to help boost our score. We've been working for about 4 years or so on the Kelsey Street crossing. And every day I say we're going to build it, I feel like a liar. But it's just like so much coordination, it's unbelievable. But we're still working on that. It's still in the program on the tip. I just had a meeting with our consultant today to see how it's going with BNSF and WashDOT.
Okay.
So,
I know it's a lofty goal, and I know you've been
It
working
is.
really hard on it. I just wanted to hear an update, and thank you for all your hard work. I really appreciate it.
you're welcome.
Thank you.
Thank you. Councilmember Hanford.
Thank you, Mayor. No questions, but I love this program because of all the good work that we do, but the great thing is that when our residents come to us and they bring concern about the sidewalks that we need or the road work that needs to be done, we can tell them it's in the plan. It's not going to be done tomorrow, but it is in the plan, and we have a plan for it. So thanks for all your work, you and your team.
Thank you.
Thank you. Councilmember Walker.
Thank you. Railroads again, on the grade separation project, it looks like it's $400,000 scheduled for this year, 500,000 next year, just for studies and design, and then 500,000 in 2028. Is that right?
Yes, there's a couple federal grants behind that one.
Okay.
And so it's a planning or feasibility study just to ponder the idea of, is it feasible to have an overpass somewhere in Monroe?
Got it.
So it's we're still working out the details in terms of, again, federal programs, but getting eventually an agreement, and when that comes through, it would come before council to approve, and then we'd start that study.
Okay.
But it's forthcoming.
Besides, so that one, I was thinking that it hadn't gotten federal funding yet, at least for the design phase. Other projects that we might be doing where we're currently paying for design but don't have actual money for right-of-way or construction yet, because I just worry about a lot of like studies that we've been, or government just does in general, of projects that never get done, and that one being like 1.4 million over that frame, over that time frame. Do you have any thoughts on the feasibility of that project versus the quiet study? Do you think it has better odds? Is it?
Well, my engineering mind is like, I see a program behind the quiet zone and doing at-grade rail improvements, where we put in some better signal systems or some better protections for our pedestrians. We score higher, and we can establish a quiet zone. Naturally, if we were to build an overpass, I would score quite well because we don't have a at-grade crossing anymore there. So that would play into it. But an at-grade or an overpass or an underpass or whatever, a separation of those conflicts, I imagine that infrastructure would cost quite a bit. But at this point, I couldn't tell you at all what that would look like. I know that the Federal Railway Administration, or really it's just the federal government, they're definitely funding rail safety projects. So right now it's kind of hard to feel out definitely the separation feasibility. It's something we've never done before. But we know how to improve crossings when we know how to build roads and stuff. So that's why I kind of gravitate to that one, so I can understand that one. So, you're doing a great job. Thank you.
Thank you. Any other questions right now? Okay. At this time, I'll ask if there are any members of the public who wish to speak on this matter. Unless the council wishes to impose a different limitation, there will be a 3-minute time limit on each speaker. Your time will begin after you introduce yourself and provide your area of residence or association with the city of Monroe. Do we have anyone signed up for this public hearing? No? Is there anyone in the audience that wants to speak to this topic? Okay. Seeing no one else who wishes to speak, council members, do you have any other questions before I close the hearing? Councilmember Walker.
I'm sorry, the RFB conversation that we had at previous meetings, is that an item that would need to be in this if those were to be done in the future?
There are some items here that are more generalized in nature, like sidewalk improvements. Sometimes we use that as a line item for future because we don't know exactly where we'll get a grant for it. We don't see grant opportunities, but when that grant source asks, where's that in your TIP, we could tap on it and say it's under this line item called sidewalk improvements. Same thing with like traffic calming or pedestrian safety. The like RFBs, the flashing beacons, we could use a grant. We could also just use TBD funds to support installing more RFBs. So there's a little more options there on the RFBs. But and we do have another RFB going in as part of our North Kelsey overlay later this year. So.
Any other questions, Council? Okay, seeing no other questions. This is at the conclusion of the public hearing. Are there any objections to closing the hearing? Okay, seeing no objections, the hearing is now closed. There's a requested action, Council. Councilmember Beaumont.
I move to adopt Resolution 2026-011, establishing a 6-year transportation improvement program for the years 2026-2031.
Is there a second? Second, Hanford. A motion has been made by Councilmember Beaumont and seconded by Councilmember Hanford. All those in favor say aye. Aye. All those opposed say no. Okay, the motion passes 6-0. Thank you, council.
Thank you.
Thank you, Scott. The next public hearing is for the interim R7 zoning ordinance extension. I previously read the rules of procedure that apply to a hearing. For the record, I'm informing all parties interested in these proceedings that the city clerk has forwarded to the city council all timely or written, otherwise recordable comments that have been submitted regarding the subject matter of this public hearing. The public hearing is now open. Ms. Monroe, please provide the staff with staff report for this hearing.
Thank you, Mayor. Good evening, Mayor, council members. I'm here to present the public hearing for the interim R7 zoning amendments extension. I'll just give a quick overview since I've been to council a couple times regarding this ordinance. This interim ordinance allows townhomes in the R7 zoning district. The interim ordinance supports Imagine Monroe, the strategies of the Housing Action Plan, and the housing policies of the 2024-2044 Comprehensive Plan. This ordinance also meets the city's vision for middle housing. The City Council adopted interim ordinance number 026/2025 on December 2nd, 2025. This ordinance will expire on June 10th of 2026, which is tomorrow. Staff is requesting an emergency ordinance due to the impending expiration date. Work on the middle housing code continues and is expected to come before City Council in September. I did meet with the Planning Commission yesterday to go over those middle housing code amendments, so we're moving forward. I received some great feedback, and I plan to bring back draft code to Planning Commission next month, and then hopefully back to City Council in September. The city has continued to receive interest from the development community to pursue townhome developments within the R7 zoning district, and the city desires to facilitate middle housing, including townhome developments. Just to go over the code changes again, this interim ordinance allows townhomes as a permitted use in the R7 zoning district. It adds a column for attached dwelling units, so that includes the bulk requirements for things like lot dimensions, setbacks, lot coverage, and density. This ordinance also adds a section for design standards specifically for townhomes. And I have the recommended action on the screen today. I won't read the entire thing, but I'm happy to answer any questions that you have regarding this ordinance.
Turned it off. Councilmember Walker, do you have a question?
Yes, ma'am. Hello.
Hello.
All of our residential districts or zones in Monroe are R7 minimum?
Minimum R7, correct.
Okay, so this would be effectively allowing townhomes in any residential zone in the city?
In R7, correct. So currently, townhomes are allowed in R15, and then this would allow townhomes in R7, correct. So all the residential zones.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Any other questions, council? Councilmember Fulcher? Sorry, she raised her hand.
Thank you. I have no problem with the townhome thing, but I did notice, and I'm trying to make sure that I'm in the right section, so correct me if I am wrong.
Okay.
This is where we talk about the ADUs and the height of the ADUs as well? Is that in what we're looking at right now, or is that our next thing we're looking at?
So
Page
just
60 is what I'm looking at.
yes. So just for clarification, that section is just adding a column for townhomes. It's not, this isn't regarding ADUs. Our ADU code, our current ADU code is a separate section, and under that code, the maximum building height is 35 feet. But this particular code is just regarding townhomes.
So we have already said then that we're good with 35 feet, because I just don't like it.
For ADUs?
Yeah.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Correct.
So that's already been codified, so I've missed my boat on that, but, Okay, good job on the townhomes. I'm all for that.
And just to, for clarification as well, this ordinance is already in place, so this would be extending it for another 6 months until I bring back the middle housing code, which will include this information as well. At that time, there can be further discussion, and if the council wants to change anything regarding townhomes in R7, we can do that.
Perfect. That will be my time then. Thank you.
Councilmember Gamble.
I was going to say exactly that, because the statement was made that we're voting on this, that this will become, and it already is, it's an interim. This is just to get us so that we're extending, and then we get to discuss more and beat it up in September.
Correct,
So,
correct,
yeah.
yes.
Thank you. Councilmember Blair.
I just wanted to clarify, so it's the same that's already in place?
Correct.
The townhome thing is not an addition, it's the same that was already with the ordinance before?
Yes, correct, yes.
Any other questions right now, council? Okay. Is there anyone who has signed up for the hearing? Okay. Is there anyone who would wish to speak on this? Okay. So seeing no one else wishing to speak, no other additional questions? Councilmember Gamble.
I move to
Oh,
adopt.
let me close the hearing.
Oh, yeah, close it.
Sorry. This is the conclusion of the public hearing, so there are no objections to closing the hearing. Hearing no objections, the public hearing is now closed. Now I will turn to Councilmember Gamble.
Okay. Move to waive council rules of procedure requiring 2 readings of an ordinance.
Okay, Hanford second. So the motion has been made by Councilmember Gamble and seconded by Councilmember Hanford to waive the council rules of procedure requiring 2 readings of the ordinance. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed say no. Motion passes 6-0. Thank you, council. And then there's a second requested action. Councilmember Gamble.
Move to adopt ordinance number 004-2026, extending for an additional 6-month period for the interim zoning amendments originally adopted under ordinance number 026-2025, providing for the continuation of interim zoning amendments to chapter 22.16 MMC, single-family residential zoning districts, and chapter 22.42 MMC, design standards designating townhomes as a permitted use in the R7 zoning district together with associated development regulations, setting forth supported findings, provided for severability, declaring an emergency, and establishing an effective date.
Thank you. Hanford second. Thank you. A motion has been made by Councilmember Gamble and seconded by Councilmember Hanford. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed say no. Thank you, council. Motion passes 6-0.
Thank you. And
Are you still up here?
I
Okay.
have one more.
Okay,
Sorry.
the final public hearing is for the co-living housing ordinance. I had already previously read the rules and procedures that apply to the hearing. The public hearing is now open. Ms. Monroe, please provide a staff report for this.
Okay, thank you. Yes, this second public hearing is on the co-living housing ordinance. To give an overview, House Bill 1998, which was passed in 2024, requires cities and counties planning under the Growth Management Act to adopt development regulations allowing co-living housing as a permitted use on any lot located with an urban growth area that allows at least 6 multifamily residential units, including on a lot zoned for mixed-use development. This is an example that I showed before, an example of co-living housing. So this particular development, so all the units have their own living space, and then they all share amenities such as kitchen spaces, a dining area, TV lounge, meeting space, on-site laundry, and other amenities. The definition for co-living housing is a residential development with sleeping units that are independently rented and lockable and provide living and sleeping space, and residents share kitchen facilities with other sleeping units in the building. So this is co-living housing. This is different than step housing, like we talked about before. This is not any type of permanent supportive housing or anything like that. So this is just a co-living housing. Looks much like an apartment building, I would say. The proposed code changes in the ordinance in the agenda packet is since co-living housing is not currently an allowed use, we're adding that. adding a definition for co-living housing, and then allowing co-living housing in the multifamily residential zone and mixed-use zones. So not in residential zones, only multifamily and mixed use. So co-living housing is a state mandate, but it does align with the City of Monroe's housing policies and Imagine Monroe. This is the timeline on the permanent ordinance. There's a city council and planning commission. Planning commission did recommend approval in February of this year. At our last meeting with council, it was on April 14th of 2026. I brought forth an ordinance that combined the step housing with the co-living housing, and at the direction of council, it was asked to separate that. So I took all the step housing out, and this permanent ordinance is only co-living housing. Here's the recommended action for tonight, and then if you have any questions, I'd be happy to answer.
Questions, council, right now? Okay. Is there anyone who signed up for the public hearing? Okay. Anyone in the audience who would like to speak on this matter? Seeing no one else wishing to speak, no questions? Okay, this is the conclusion of the public hearing. Any objections to closing the public hearing? Okay, hearing no objections, the public hearing is now closed. There is a requested action, council. Councilmember Gamble.
Approve for first reading ordinance number 005-2026, adopting zoning amendments to chapter 22.12 MMC definitions, chapter 22.18 MMC multifamily residential zoning district, and chapter 22.20 MMC mixed use zoning districts, allowing for co-living housing in compliance with Gross Substitute House Bill ESHB 1998, setting forth supportive findings, providing for severability, and establishing an effective date.
Beaumont, are you seconding, or do you have a question? I will second. Okay, thank you. A motion has been made by Councilmember Gamble, seconded by Councilmember Beaumont. Any other comments, questions? Okay. All those in favor say aye. Aye. All those opposed say no. No. Motion passes 5-1. Thank you, council.
Thank you.
Thank you. Next item of business is consent agenda. Council, is there a motion? Councilmember Beaumont.
I move to approve the consent agenda as provided in the packet.
Thank you. A motion has been made by Councilmember Beaumont, seconded by Councilmember Gamble to approve the consent agenda as written. Any comments, questions? Okay, all those in favor say aye. Aye. All those opposed say no. Motion passes 6-0. Thank you, council. The next item on the agenda is new business 8.1 ordinance number 006-2026, amending MMC 3.54.130. Transportation impact fees. Mr. Peterson, will you introduce this item?
Yes, thank you, Mayor. This agenda bill is first reading of the ordinance 06-2026, which is updating our transportation impact fees to keep up with inflation, really. It's in our code that we are to do a look back of the previous 5 years construction cost index per the Washington State DOT, and use those numbers to see how inflation has changed over the previous calculation. In your agenda bill packet, there's a table in there that shows the math where there was an increase that percentage-wise was 3% increase over the previous year. So, as a bit of housekeeping, we are proposing to update all of our transportation impact fee categories by 3% as shown in your agenda bill and the attached ordinance number 6/2026. And this is proposed to be brought back on the 23rd of June for adoption. And that's pretty much it for my presentation.
Council, any questions? Seeing no questions, there's a requested action. Councilmember Beaumont.
I move to accept as first reading ordinance number 006/2026, amending chapter 3.54.130 MMC, transportation impact fees, updating the city's codified transportation impact fee schedule pursuant to MMC 3.54.130, providing for severability and establishing an effective date.
Is there a second? Hanford. A motion has been made by Councilmember Beaumont and seconded by Councilmember Hanford. Any discussion? Seeing no discussion, all those in favor say aye. Aye. All those opposed say no. Motion passes 6-0. Thank you, Council.
Thank you.
Thank you, Scott. Next item is Councilmember reports. Councilmember Gamble?
No report.
Thank you. Councilmember Fulcher? Thank you. Councilmember Beaumont?
Well, I have to say something about the farmers market tomorrow. We are having an apple pie baking contest, and I understand there might be some city entries, but this is part of America 250 celebration, and the Historical Society is hosting this wonderful apple pie baking contest. So we'll see who bakes the best apple pie in Monroe. And if you are planning to come to the market, maybe to grab some dinner after work, we are announcing the first, second, and third place winners at 5 o'clock, and we will have lots of pie left over. Each entrant is bringing a full pie, and we will only be tasting a portion of it. So we would love to see lots of people there and come down and get some pie, and thank you very much.
Apple pie is my favorite, just FYI. Councilmember Hanford?
So what time is pie?
5 o'clock.
We missed the judges' emails.
I know. I was looking for that. Oh, okay. Let's see. Things to report.
Join the board.
There's a pie tomorrow. I participated in the Solid Waste Advisory Committee meeting again last week or the week before. No real updates, but yeah, that's it. Thanks.
Thank you. Councilmember Blair?
I attended a Snohomish County Tomorrow meeting where there's other cities and that they go and look at data. One of the things they focused on was our growth. So they had some 1990 rates and current rates. In 1990, there was a tie with rural, UGA, and cities growths. And now we are getting what we want out of the Growth Management Act, and we see the majority of growth in the cities, then second, some in UGAs, and the least amount in the rural areas, which is the plan. So basically, they're saying it's working, even though sometimes people feel that their growth in the rural areas is happening. It's not happening as much as it was in the past. The other thing that was talked a lot about is the growth that we are seeing in Washington is from net migration, so people moving here instead of like a natural growth from residents you already have. And the goals are to continue to have most of the growth in the cities. So for us, the city of Everett is working hard to absorb a lot of growth. And that's it.
Thank you. Councilmember Walker?
Oh, yeah. Councilmember Hanford, Mayor, and Liam and I attended the Puget Sound Regional Council General Assembly a few weeks ago now. Yeah. And that was really helpful. We heard from a group called Challenge Seattle that was headed by Governor Christine Gregoire and a panel of business executives from some of the major corporations in the area spoke and did a panel about the things that are going right and wrong in our area or in our region that are causing businesses to stay or leave. It made me feel proud of Snohomish County and cities like Monroe and the way that we welcome businesses, small businesses. That's been a huge priority. But I think that anything that we can do to take the initiative to greet business in the future is very, very much needed in our region. So anyways, that was very interesting. Councilmember Fulcher, Administrator Knight, and former Mayor Thomas and I attended a service for David Hose, the painter of the memorial behind you. Mayor, I know you had a commitment to the Miracle League game, and we missed you. It was a great service, amazing guy. I feel really lucky that we're able to have one of his works in the City Hall, and the way that he's touched all the different areas in the community. Yeah, so I just wanted to say, yeah, God rest his soul, and thank you for all of you guys. Anyway, that's all I have.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you for attending for that. I actually couldn't go to Miracle League because I was sick too, so that probably worked out. So thanks for attending. Now we move on to staff member reports. The first is community development. Mr. Bailey.
Herr Mayor, members of council, excuse me. The April report is in your packet. I'll cover a couple of highlights. The project highlight for April is literally just a list of pre-applications to show some months we do one or two or none. We did 7 in April, so we're continuing to see a lot of pre-applications come in. On a staff recognition basis, our building officials, Stacy Criswell was recently elected as the second vice president of WABO. WABO is the Washington Association of Building Officials, and they work on code issues and legislation and represent the state at ICC, which is the International Code Council. Just one mention about code enforcement. You've probably noticed somewhat of an uptick of graffiti around town, and the code enforcement head from community development has been working with property owners on that. So hopefully we will see a downturn in that here in the near future. That's all I've got, unless you have some questions.
Any questions, Council? No? Okay. Next report is from Finance Department. Julie?
Good evening, Mayor and Council. The finance report for April is in your packet. I'll go over just a couple of highlights. Overall, projected revenues remain consistent with the budget, and we're doing okay. However, there are key revenue sources that are still coming in under budget. However, there are other revenue sources that are coming in over, and so we're still managing and looking good overall for the 25-2026 budget. And just any questions?
Any questions, Council? Okay. Next on is extended agenda. Mr. Wortham.
For next week, we have HR and Finance Committee. We'll go over in the AI guidelines by Liam and financial policies, which I believe is our cash handling policy is one of them for next week. And then at 7, we'll have a regular study session. We're confirming that Snow Isle will be here next week to give us a presentation, and Liam will be talking about automatic traffic safety cameras. And then on the 23rd, I know that Councilmember Hanford is going to be gone that day, and I believe we're sending 2 council members to Spokane. Are you both going to attend remotely, or we just want to check that we have a quorum that day? I wasn't sure what the festivities in Spokane would bring. You can attend remotely? Okay, perfect. So it should be no problem. For that meeting for the P3, we'll be discussing e-bike regulations. We know that there's some changes coming out this week in state law, so we'll make sure to incorporate that in our presentation. And then we have a State of the Hospital by Lisa LaPlante, and new business and ordinance for fitness zones. That is the individual that came out from Gold's Gym. That's the next process that Lance will be bringing forward.
Excellent. Any questions, Council? Okay, next is the administrator report. Do you have anything?
I do.
Mr.
I was
Wortham?
talk
This
about
is your first one?
I know. I was going to talk about this pie thing, but I think Tammy handled it.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that was on the list. AWC annual business meeting is coming up. The AWC bylaws allow each city to appoint up to 3 voting delegates. Councilmember Fulcher and Beaumont are attending the conference. We require council action to designate voting delegates. No formal vote is needed. It looks like head nods.
Okay.
So, got enough? Good. And then we already talked about the June 23rd. It looks like we'll have a quorum. both real and online. That's great. Apple pie baking contest. If you haven't heard, Sherry Simonson is going to be going. Yeah, exactly.
That's
so
serious.
So just saying, that's why she couldn't be here tonight. She's baking. So and it sounds like
they're
Jerry
competing.
They're competing. So there you go.
Oh,
I want the sherry.
yes.
Yeah. So.
Well, go. You need to show up.
Yeah. So, and lastly, I wanted to discuss some organizational changes here. Starting this month in June, Human Services will move from traditionally in the Executive's office to the Police Department. This realignment supports the Mayor's outlined vision of strengthening community-focused, partnership-driven approaches to public safety, housing stability, and coordinated services. The mission of the Human Services isn't changing. It's simply placing the team where collaboration with outreach, crisis response, and community partners is the strongest. So just wanted to make sure that, again, thanks to the chief, both him and I have been working hard to make that transition happen, and we've had meetings even as recent as today. So,
Yep.
Other than that.
Yep. Any questions, council? No. Okay. First report, down the drain. There you go. All right. Next is mayor's report. So I attended farmers market last week. You guys, it was awesome. It is a wonderful farmers market. I talked to quite a few vendors, and they were new this year too. So clearly there is growth in the vendors that we have, and it was just awesome. So just great job by the chamber, great job by the community, very well supported. Just feel really proud about that. The General Assembly, just a couple comments about that. Thank you for attending, Councilmember Walker and Hanford. I think next year we talked about learning what's on the agenda, maybe bringing to council so we can have a discussion about what's going to be voted on, because there are votes that happen there, and we voted on behalf of the city of Monroe, so I think it would be great to have a discussion beforehand around those items. So just really appreciate being able to go. A couple things that really stuck out to me when we had the businesses talking about, you know, what they need from government, from cities, from counties. It's really predictability, right? You need to know what the laws are, and they need to stay so that when they're doing a project, they can understand. The next is timeliness. You know, how quickly and efficiently can we get things done so that they can count on opening. So I think those are two things I aspire for in our community, is predictability and timeliness for businesses. I think that's really important. They also talked about partnership, and business is good. It is not a negative thing in community. It is a partnership, and we all work together to promote it for community, and I thought that's really important. And then the safety aspect, a couple, I remember Eric Nordstrom talked about his stores and how it was really important that public safety has a role in economic development, and that when businesses feel safe and that they can open and their customers feel safe, it promotes a great business environment. So I think that's how public safety really can work with businesses. Really proud of our crime prevention program that our community service officers provide for business owners, and they go and they do an environmental scan of how businesses can be more secure, and they go to the business and walk through the business with the business owner. So our police force does a wonderful job partnering with business, and I want to keep promoting that. So that was really important. Let's see, next, tomorrow I'm doing hopefully my final state of the city. I know some of you have heard it. I think I've done 10 of these out in the community. So tomorrow I'm going to present, I think, the last one to Rotary at noon. So if anyone hasn't heard it or wants to hear it, I was talking to Justin Rood. This is going to be his third time hearing it. So I said, I'm sorry, Justin. But happy to go out to Rotary and do that tomorrow. So that'll be probably the last one for this quarter. So happy about that. And then lastly, let me pull up my computer real quick. This weekend, there is a Pride event, and it is Pride Month, and there is a proclamation in your packet. I'm not going to read the whole proclamation, but one thing that I want to make council aware of and community aware of and have on the record, I really encourage residents, business owners, and employers, visitors to learn more about LGBTQ plus Americans and take steps to be more inclusive in accepting and supporting this community and our neighbors. And as an expression of Monroe's support and inclusion of our LGBTQ plus neighbors, business owners, and visitors, I do hereby direct the flying of the progress flag at the City of Monroe's municipal campus beginning on Friday, June 12th, until Monday, June 15th, during the weekend of Monroe Pride. So I am doing that. I think it's important that I read a little bit about why I'm taking that step so that council can hear that, understand that it's important to follow the pride, follow the flag policy. So everything I'm doing is within the flag policy. That's very important to me. But I think Monroe's vision statement imagines Monroe as a safe place for all, where everyone feels at home and everyone feels they belong. And this vision guides not only the services we provide, but also our approach to building community. My decision to raise the pride flag is grounded in that vision. LGBTQ plus residents have historically faced exclusion, discrimination, and a lack of recognition from many institutions, including government. Flying the pride flag is not intended to exclude residents who may not identify with that community or may hold different personal beliefs. Rather, it is intended to affirm that LGBTQ plus residents are also valued members of Monroe, and they are too welcome in their local government and community. Local government works best when all residents feel they have a place in our democracy. When any part of the community feels unseen or left behind, it becomes more difficult to build trust, encourage participation, and serve the public effectively. As such, a critical role of government must be actively invite public engagement. Recognizing Pride Weekend is one way the city can promote that engagement and communicate that all residents deserve dignity and respect. So I just want to reiterate that when we have the Imagine Monroe statement, those are words. I believe sometimes a public servant needs to take action to show those words mean something. And by flying the flag this weekend, that is taking an action to show our residents that we are inclusive. So I want to make sure that was on the record. And I'll give another example of taking action. And this has to do with, we had an incident where our cricket club had a possible intentional discriminatory action towards them on their Facebook page that involved the city. And it was really important to me to take the action of reaching out to those cricket club members and inviting them into the city and assuring them face to face that if they had any discrimination, we took it seriously. We were here, and for them, I gave them my personal card so that they could contact me. And it's that type of action, I think, as a public servant, I need to take to ensure that our Imagine Monroe statement means something. So I will always take that step to make sure people understand they're not just words, that there's action. So that's for your FYI. It follows the flag policy, and if you have any questions, please let me know. Appreciate it, Council. There is no need for an executive session this evening, correct? Okay, there being no further business and no objections, the meeting will be adjourned. Hearing no objections, the meeting is now adjourned. Good night, Council.